I'm in. Welcome and back again. Right, it's been quite a while, hasn't it? It's been probably a month since I think since I did a video. When I can't remember what it was. Anyway, not a lot to really discuss as far as lure fishing goes, but we did actually go the other Sunday. I think if any of you have got the newsletter, I mentioned about it in there. We went down to the south coast. Now I tell you what happened. I'd already written off the season because obviously it's gone shit round. Even though it's been a pretty bad year as far as conditions go round our way. You know, right round Thanet, Kent. You know, but we my mate Lee, I don't know how he does it, but he's got something. There's some live cam down Folkestone where we go, and it showed that the water was absolutely crystal clear. Anyway, this was not this Sunday, gone the Sunday before, last Sunday. So we buggered off down there. Well, it was 4 of us, and God, the conditions were pretty good, but it was bloody tough going. I didn't have nothing, and I have to be honest with you, right? I fished down there all year, not all the time, because it's not really my choice of venue, my main choice of venue, and I haven't caught one bloody fish. Now, I took my friend Steve Wood down there. It was his first time down there. He caught 2. I mean, it's great, really. I love it. It's, you know, it's really good. But yeah, he caught 2. As you see it in the picture. But and funnily enough, the other bloke, Al, who had only his 3rd time going, lost a 10-pounder right at the net. That was, we'd already buggered off by then because we'd been there quite a while. But yeah, but I know he's losing it. But Jesus Christ, that 10-pound fish would have beaten all 3. That would have been beaten all 3. It's only been 3 times. People, that's the fish of a lifetime. You know, on the lures. That's pretty good. I mean, I have had an 11-pounder, but that was on bait. So anyway, this video is going to be all about tips and tricks, things that, you know, you might know them already, you might not, but hopefully they're helpful to you anyway. So let's get into the video. Hopefully I can get that old camera angle right, because I just been through that video. I'm not going to do it again, and I'm seen to be sitting down here. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, let's try and get it. It's only a little adjustment, but bloody, I keep doing that. I've done that on the other videos. Right, this bit. This is all about avoiding crack-offs. Now, if you've been fishing ages, it's probably not news, but I'm telling you from my experience, and believe you me, you don't want to lose any lures. Now, what I found, a couple of times I'd done this when I'd lost lures casting out, they'd snapped off. Fucking snapped off. Anyway, it had been quite windy, not normally I'm on about blowing from the sort of side. And what I'd done is when I'd reeled in and got hold of the lure, took the lure off, put the new lure on, let it go down, whacked it out, and it's fucking snapped off, right? Now, what actually happened was the wind, while I was standing there with taking the bloody lure, you know, getting the lure clip off and everything, the wind, you know, you're rocking whatever you're doing, the wind had blown the line around the end of my rod, whether it's just my Zolts or whatever. So what happened when I let go of the lure, obviously it looks like it's still coming off the end. So ultimately when I whacked it out there, it cracked off, right? And I've done that bloody twice. So always make sure, or if it's windy, try and keep your line tight to the rod tip and make sure that, you know, it's in touch with it, or even just look and check that that's not loose. Oh, I mean, if it's windy, if it's not windy, your line's just going to lay naturally out of the wind, isn't it? So it's not a problem. That's my tip number 1. Just save yourself. It might save you some money. Like I say, Muggins has done it twice and it's not very good. When you've got shit braid, it could happen anyway, regardless, because I've had that problem as well. That's just I'd obviously got a bad batch of braid. It was it was all faded. I knew there was something wrong. It was like a lime green, like that sort of colour, but that's pretty good. That's a Major Craft braid. I've never used that before, but that's a really good braid. Anyway, that's all. A little tip about crack-offs. Right, the next bundle of joy is actually Vaseline. That's got toothpaste all over it. That Vaseline. Now, the reason why I'm going on about this is basically for soft plastics. Now, this is just a little tip. This can actually help your hookup rates, because what happens is when obviously the hook is threaded through. Now that's pretty good because I've already done it. That's why. But you know, that can be quite hard. Now that can affect you actually hooking a bass. You know, that being sticky, that hooking that in that thing. So what we actually do to all of them is actually get some Vaseline out of the pot and just rub it around that hook like that, and the other side like that on the shank. Give it, now that is slipping. You see now you've got more chance that you're going to connect a lot better. That is use number one for Vaseline. You don't have to have a bloody great big tub like that. You can get them little round things that the ladies have, you know, for their lips and all that. Do you know what I mean? You know them little round little tins that you get in the thing. Well, now the other one, now this is a bloody killer. I've only just discovered this one myself. But actually, it's just getting back to wind knots and fishing line. Like if you get a little wind knot, you've got that little bit of Vaseline. If you rub the Vaseline into the knot, when you first notice it, obviously if it's been pulled tight already, you're probably buggered. The actual Vaseline actually helps the knot actually pull out. If you think about it, there's no way the knot's actually been tied, like, you know, like it's actually a loop that's gone into another bit and maybe into another bit. But Vaseline, you rub that into the knot, give it a pull. I'm not saying it's always going to work. Jeez, to me it's the tip of the bloody year, that is. I tell you, because I've had a few wind knots lately, but unfortunately they were irretrievable. There's no way line had come off. I tell you what I'd done. It was actually on my bloody casking. The line a couple of times just never noticed. You should always pull it when you cast that. You should always pull that. Make sure that line is not on top of that spool, because that's what had happened. I'd cast out again after doing that, and the line that loop was starting to come off. Maybe the lines weren't on the spool tight or whatever. But anyway, it's not about wind knots. But I'm saying, yeah, it is about wind knots. The Vaseline, rub that in them bloody knots. Pull it. Should be onto a winner. Right, back again. Right, this is tip number 3. Well, I suppose this is more of a tip to myself, because I learned a valuable lesson from this, but this isn't really the tip. It's just the difference between, not unless you're well aware of stocking foot waders and like the you know, the all-in-one ones, whatever they're called. Like mine are Vas. I use the Vas waders. They're pretty hard wearing waders, you know, thicker material. Now, what I like about, that's why I like the Vas. The only thing I don't like about the Vas is I find you don't seem to be so comfortable when you're standing on the bloody rocks in the water. My feet were bloody aching like buggery the first time I'd used them this year, because I have had them before. I can't remember what happened to them. I can't remember where they went. I mean, I did have a pair of Bass. They were pretty. I think that was what it was. I think it was hurting my feet too much. But obviously, wear a lot thicker socks. But what I've found with that's what I'm incidentally using at the moment. However, I have used stocking foot waders, but what I found with them, they always seem to bloody end up leaking. It's so bloody annoying. But actually, once I'll tell you a quick little story. Now, this was when a few years ago now, we'd been fishing quite regularly down Folkestone. It was just the way it was. The water was really good down there. I'd actually caught my PB and I'd caught a sea trout on this one session anyway. I went home that evening, as you do. Bloody I'd obviously taken my waders off. I wear the stocking foot waders down, especially down there, because we walk miles from the car park where we miles. I mean, on a hot summer evening or whatever, you're gonna, if you've got an issue, you want to lose some weight, you're gonna sweat your bloody knackers off wearing Vas waders, because it's not, you know, they're not as light. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, what happened was I'd returned home from fishing, and I had put my waders in the garden because they were all wet. All the foot bit was wet, you know what I mean? I want to dry them out a little bit. Anyway, the next evening we went down to Folkestone again, and I stepped out, I got on the rocks, walked out into the... I thought, I don't feel bloody right. Anyway, it was horrible. It was like freezing. And what happened was, my actual waders had actually filled right up with water. Now, to cut a long story short, whether it was my missus or not, someone had actually in the garden where she lives and actually come out and bloody done a Jack the Ripper on them and punctured them loads of times. I mean, they filled right up. But the bastard thing was, I was already miles down there that I only just started fishing. So my tip is, don't leave your waders with you when your missus can get hold of them. She might do that if you've had a round. No, you know what I mean, I'm only joking. But I can't say too much. She's saying, yeah, she'll kill me. She thinks I thought she did it, but she didn't. She didn't. But anyway, so my point is that if you're not going far, then I would stick to the Vas waders. But if you've got a long walk, or I just think they're better if you're actually standing in the water. I mean, I think the stocking foot are better because obviously you got better boots on your feet for the rocks. Do you know what I mean? So I would that would be my advice on the waders. Short little trips, Vas all day long, no wading, just in case you have to go in the water. Sometimes you do, but for the longer trips, you know, standing in the water, I'd use the stocking foot. That's if they don't bloody leak. In fact, right, I'm just trying new stuff out here. Actually, I just ordered it. It took about bloody 6 weeks to come. I don't know what it is. It's Jason's Invisible Waterproof Agent or something. I don't know if it's the right stuff. I've tried other things, like quite a proper pen and ink and all. So it's because they've been wet, see. These both really leak badly. Look, you can see on the foot, they leak in there, and that was I'd put the stuff in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to fill that boot up, put talcum powder on it, and actually see whether that stuff has worked. Because the last time we went, we didn't plan. I only wore them because I knew we had a bloody long walk. I wasn't planning on fishing in the water, because down in Folkestone you don't actually have to go in. But obviously, scenarios like the other day when we'd fished and had a few. The others had a few. You couldn't really get down to the water because the water was actually smashing over the rocks. It'd be too dangerous. The geezer lost it was about a 10-pounder. You know, not very good. But anyway, that's my little tip about waders. Right then, so back again. I'll tell you what, I will find a way to have that camera in the right position. I'll tell you another thing. I keep sitting forward. Right, this I went off in a tangent about in the last little section, the last little bit about the waders. What I was actually going to show you is how to actually find the leaks in the stocking foot waders. I'm on about the foot part because that's the problem I've got with mine. So let's go to the bathroom. Right, so basically this has been a right old palaver setting this up, but here we go anyway. Well, I'm just going to show you quickly what I've done. Actually, I've already done this a little bit before, so just because I was finding a leak anyway, that's why I decided to put it on the video. But what I do is I get some of this talcum powder, Johnson's baby powder. It makes it equal shit. Right, put it on and then cover it. Oh, it smells lovely. because it makes it see. Oh, this is going to go mad. It sees this fucking mess. Come on. Then you get a nice jug of water like this and pour it down the hole. And hopefully all goes into the bottom. Then we can see, hopefully see, yes, look, in the heel. Can you see that? You can see, actually, there's about 5 leaks in that heel, so that's why that is, see there? Have a look at the toes. No water in the toes. That's all in the heel, so I know around that seam I've got to try and put something, find something to do that. So that's basically where I find the leak. The next thing is fixing the bloody thing. Right, so the next thing obviously is actually fixing the holes in the waders. Now, what I've experienced with when I've bought waders in the past is you get these little kits, like you get some like material and stuff like that. You like these little strips. Obviously, that I should imagine that is more for the actual the other bit, not the actual foot bit. I should imagine. Well, you probably could use it, I suppose. But what I tend to do, yeah, that is. I think that's if you actually tear the wader, you know, because sometimes like you know, you could either kneel down on a rock or something and puncture the knee or something, or even sometimes if it's standing in the water, you know, the actual, if a fish swims, you know, when you're trying to get it in and they're going bloody bonkers sometimes, the fish can actually puncture, you know, with its big spiky old fins, can actually puncture your waders. It hasn't happened to me, but it has had, I know people who it has happened to. And that's a different sort of stuff. That is, it's got a different feel to it. But anyway, the actual repair adhesive, technical only because I just read it on the tube, is what I've used in the past. Is this stuff called Storm Shore. I think you can get it on Amazon or eBay and places like that. I'll leave a link below if you wanna try some, if you've got a leaky old waders. I'll tell you another thing quickly before. I'm not going to start, because obviously my waders are soaking wet now, so I can't really start sticking them until they're dried out. They actually bloody stunk, because the last time when I wore them, we didn't know, face, Jesus, I didn't plan on going in the water, but we got there so early, we decided to fish a bit of the up and coming tides. It meant going out on the rocks, and you couldn't get out to a decent bit of, you couldn't cast from the rocks because there was too much crap in front of you, like seaweed and rocks, so you had to sort of wade out to try and get a good bit. And ultimately mine waders were leaking pretty badly, both feet. Anyway, like I say, but that's the Storm Shore. That's the repair adhesive. That's, I think, you know, like divers use them for their wetsuits, so it must be pretty good. Anyway, that's what I use. Right then, so the next little handy little thing is actually pencil cases. Right now, I don't think I've showed you this before, but this is this keeps things a little bit more organised, rather than putting all your soft plastics in a box. It just takes up your room. You want to keep all them boxes for your hard lures. I use these pencil cases. Well, not my idea. Someone else actually showed me this. Lee Smith showed me this, and this is how he keeps his in. Because what they actually do, I haven't got the boxes handy, but they actually can slot down in front of the boxes if you've got them in your lure, you know, your lure vest or whatever. See, I keep all of mine in. There's some of them Raya spotters in there, and some other things. I don't know what they're called. I've got bloody shitloads of them. Look, these are, that's another little pencil case, and you know, all of them in there. But that was the last one. That was the last little lot I took with me. I got all sorts of different ones in there. Only used one, I think, out of the lot. like using hard lures. The reason why that was because we were quite high up off the water. We had to stand back from the water because the waves were bloody crashing on the boulders. Right, incidentally, like I said, the geezer lost the bloody fish. About gutting. And you know, obviously I've got shitloads of these bloody things, but they're not all in pencil cases because obviously I've got loads. I don't even know what's in there. You know, there's shitload of bodies in there. There's no, obviously they all go on heads of like savage gears. There's, you know, savage geared eels and that. But that's well hand. It keeps them well organised, and because these clear plastic cases, they're you know, the hooks don't seem to come through that easy. So you know, when you put your bloody hand in and poke one out your fingernail. Anyway, that's another little thing. Keep your soft plastics organised. Keep them boxes for the hard lures. Soft plastics in the pencil cases. Bob's your uncle. Right, here we are again. The cat's just coming. Hello, pretty cat. Right, getting back to the repair part of our video. Well, actually, there's a little bit of a problem. Now, I've dried my waders have dried out. I've got my stuff already. I've gone to take the lid off of my Storm Shore that's been sitting in my box for yonks, and it's actually stuck to the lid. So I can't get that off. And inside, it's actually gone off. So I think with a little tube, once you actually get a tube like this, I think you're supposed to use the whole lot rather than, you know, well, I didn't know that anyway, but that's what I use anyway. So what I'll do is I'll do another video maybe another time. I'm going to order some more of this in the meantime. It's just have to leak, won't you, I'm afraid? But like mine are. But that's it. I've got two pairs, so luckily I can. Right then, the next thing on the old agenda is... here it is. There's a little ditty that my my good buddy, my fishing friend, Steve Wood got me. It's called the Rapala. It's what it actually does. It's quite ingenious actually. It actually glows the lures in the dark. You know, it's got a set of little lure in there. Look, it's got a set of lights inside it. Now this is handy if you're in the water, if you stand in the water or you want to glow your lures up at night. If you're using glow lures, I mean, if you don't use the glow type, then there's not a lot of point now in it really. But I think it's quite handy, and I actually can't wait for next season to actually try it out because I think it's quite a handy little tool. Now, how it actually works is actually right. My lure's stuck in my fucking table. Right, I will show you once I get this out of the way. Right, actually stick the lure, this little lure. I better turn the light off, haven't I? Right then. Oh Jesus, it's dark. Right, and you press the button. As you can see inside that, it's glowing. Now this way you don't have to shine your light out in the water. You can just put your lure in. Obviously there's a little hole in there for you for your thing. Just hold that for a little minute, if you can be bothered. I mean, Mike, I think it's quite a good idea. And obviously you open the box again. And yes, look, it's glowing like a good one. That's quite good. I'm quite pleased with that. It's quite good. I mean, this is like a Suzuki. This lure. It's like I'm not sure. I don't think it's a real one, but this is like a Suzuki. Obviously, I've got other ones that we can use. You know, that we can try out in the dark. Let's have a little look. So find one in there. Have I got one in there? Yes, I have. Look, I have. I've got an X-Slayer. So let's try it with this one, shall we, quickly? I shut the box, press the button, the cat's eating its foot away there, give that a little bit of a glow, and then, yes, look, perfect, absolutely bang on the money. I quite like it. I think it's a good idea. Anyway, put the light back on. So anyway, that's the old, the Rapala. I don't know what it's actually called. I've never ever seen one in my life, but I shall be trying that. The only thing is, little neg, is where you're actually going to put it. You can actually hang it on something, I suppose. I mean, you can actually hang it on if it fits in your lure box, fine. or in a pocket. Maybe if you've got a decent pocket for it, good. I mean, only if you're using like a luminous lure. I think that's quite a good idea. That's the Rapala night box. Right, so that's the end of this little video. I hope some of these little tips and tricks helped you out. Right then, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I need more subscribers, and hit the like if you liked it. If you didn't, oh well, tough shit. Probably may not be everybody's cup of tea. It's just a little help thing. You see, still got no live footage, but you see, it is a bit of a problem because most of the fishing, like I say, is always at night time, and we don't have our lights on, so you're not going to bloody see anything, are you? Now, and I haven't been hardly catching anything. So, but we will be doing some sea fishing videos, right? Bait fishing. I know it's not lure fishing, but I don't give a shit because we have the lights on, so you can see what's actually going on. But next season, I promise you there's going to be loads. I mean, I have put there's loads of other videos you can bloody watch of people catching bass. I mean, but we want to actually know how to catch the bass, don't we? We want to know them little tips and tricks that make things a little bit easier. Anyway, so what else have I got to tell you about? Yeah, sorry about the waders. I mean, I can't obviously repair the waders because of the bloody glue scenario. I haven't got any, but it's pretty straightforward. You know, you find the leak and use that stuff. Maybe stick something, a little bit of cloth that you get with your waders, like this stuff. If you get that stuff, normally I think the more you pay, the better the puncture repair kit. Do you know what I mean? Apart from that, stay safe, everyone. See you later.